So now we're going to play a game, and this game is called What Insurance Do I Wish I Had If One of These Modern Day Occurrences Happens to Me? So, Jill, I'm driving a carpool for kids and I get into an accident. What insurance do I wish I had?
Well, like I said, you wish you had adequate liability limits on your auto policy for one. And like I said, in a case where it's a carpool, really that combined single limit of coverage where you don't have a per person or you don't have a per occurrence limit will actually be more beneficial for you.
Okay, because I'm responsible as the bad driver.
Right.
Okay. My kid goes to college and they say horrible things on Facebook and gets sued. What insurance do I wish I had?
Well, you hope that your child is still covered on your homeowner's policy for the underlying liability coverage that we talked about for personal injury. But then also you want to make sure that they're also still named insured on your umbrella coverage as well, in case the claim does go above and beyond that initial $500,000.
So you're saying when my children go off to college, I don't want to just get them right off the policies to save money?
No. You do not want to do that, especially if you're still claiming them as a dependent.
All right. So my kid is in a car driven by someone else who gets in an accident. What insurance do I wish I had?
Again, you wish you had adequate underinsured motorist coverage because the insurance always follows the vehicle. So you can't control what other limits folks are going to carry on their car. Like I said, in California, you only need to have $15,000 per person, $30,000 per accident. So it's always good to have that uninsured motorist coverage to fill in any gaps if you're put in that situation.
All right. A fire comes through, wipes out my whole neighborhood, and the contractor's fees are through the roofs because they have their choice of homes to build, and I want mine to get in line. So what insurance do I wish I had?
Well, like I said before, you want to make sure your policy has that extended replacement cost feature. And then to really know what that means, like what percentage of the limit that actually will cover. The cover enhancement become very important if there's a sudden spike in construction costs that could push rebuilding costs higher than expected and higher than your policy limit.
It's Halloween, and I live on one of those streets where they busing kids. And Spiderman slips in the front stairs while chasing a little Batman. What insurance do I wish I had?
Well, you want to make sure you have adequate liability on your home or renter's policies. You know, standard policies also cover a non-fault medical coverage. We didn't really go into that today, but I'd be happy to explain to folks who are interested. Basically, what that does is that the injured guest is taken care of, but then it avoids a lawsuit on your liability portion. So that's, you know, you want to make sure the policy covers you either way, either on the liability or the medical for that. And not everyone's familiar with the coverage, so it's good to kind of review that stuff as well.
Okay. My husband and I bought a house 30 years ago, and the kids have finally moved up and out at the age of, 45, 50. And now we've remodeled the kitchen and bathrooms. We have granite, double pane windows, skylights, the works. Do I need to call my insurance agent?
Yes. It's important to review your insured limits on your policy to make sure that it includes the cost of the renovation you just completed. If you're with a carrier that offers the free appraisal service, that would be a time where your broker would order them to go out to the house and do another appraisal. On average, we recommend that you have a new appraisal done on the home every 6 years.
What if I buy a tenant-in-common unit with my boyfriend or girlfriend in San Francisco, for example? What insurance do I need?
So TICs can be pretty complicated. So it really depends on how it's set up. What you really have to make sure you note of is that all owners of the property are named insured. Now, whether that's on a TIC common policy or on each individual owner's policy, you just want to make sure everyone's they're named insured on there, so it's properly covered.
What does a named insured mean?
Basically, you're named on the policy. So the policy will be in your names. That way, if there's ever a claim against you, you're named insured on the policy.
My son's preschool asked me to be on the board on the audit committee. What insurance do I wish I had?
Well, you wish that any board that you serve on has at least $1 million worth of what we call directors and officers coverage. Directors and officers can get sued for a variety of things. It could be fiduciary duty breaches. It could be a failure to fulfill an organization's mission. It could be a misuse of director funds. Basically, any improper conduct of volunteers or employees, you could also fall back on directors and officers. So you really want to make sure that the board you're serving on has at least $1 million coverage, and you can purchase additional limits if you need to.
Are you casting aspersions on my auditing skills, Bill, here?
Everyone always goes in with the best intentions, and sometimes things don't work out that way.
Right.
Yeah.
I finally went out and got my estate documents prepared. I put my house in the trust, and my financial planner is very happy with me. So
Yeah, that's good.
I need to call my insurance broker.
Yes, anytime you make corrections or additions, revisions to your trust, you need to call your insurance person as well, because the trust needs to be named as additional insured on your homeowner's policy.
And what does it mean to have a named as an additional insured?
Well, like I said, named insured on the policy is you, but when you title your home in your trust, then the trust needs to be a named insured as well.
Got it. So you don't want to have a loophole there.
Right.
All right. I really like pink mustaches, and I think I might want to work in my free time for Lyft or Uber, providing taxi service for people and driving my own car because I like it. It's got the whole couch thing going on. It's got a cup holder. I like it. Will my personal auto policy cover me?
It will not if you're acting in the capacity of a driver for any of those organizations. Currently, they hold commercial insurance policies with $1 million of coverage per incident. The driver's liability to third parties is covered from the moment a driver accepts a trip to its conclusion. If you're not acting in that capacity, then your personal auto policy comes into play. But it's important to note that those entities do have commercial general liability coverage to cover you.
It's good to know. It's been in the news a lot, so it's nice to have some clarification there.
Right.
When I rent a car at the airport, they keep advising me to get insurance, and they don't want to let it go. Do I really need it?
Honestly, it really depends on what auto insurance carrier you're with. Some extend auto policy to a rental car with no changes, and while others limit the coverage when you're renting a car. So, and also when you rent a car, some credit cards will cover through your credit card benefits. So the best thing is to do is just to review your insurance policies and your credit card benefits, and then it's very important to read the fine print on that.
It's always important to read the fine print. I think they should do away with the fine print, make it bigger. All right. I was out for dinner last night with my fiance, and I looked down at my engagement ring, and the stone was missing. What insurance do I wish I had?
You wish your ring was scheduled on a collections or a personal articles policy. These policies can be purchased separately. There's no deductible, and it insures against the many risks, including the stone falling out. But also make sure your piece is valued at the correct value and insured the right way.
My dear sweet husband went out and bought a boat. What insurance do I need?
Well, first, you wish you had watercraft coverage. That'll cover the hull of the boat, and then actually it will also have liability limits on the watercraft policy. But then also you want to make sure that your watercraft is listed on your umbrella coverage as well, and that all regular operators are named on the policy too.
Okay. I came home from work last night to find a bunch of college kids had broken into my apartment, drank all my beer, and stole my computer, my grandmother's ring, and my passport. What insurance do I wish I had?
You wish you had renter's insurance coverage and an insurance carrier that settles claims on a replacement cost basis and not an actual cash value basis, because that will take into depreciation, and you want to make sure you're made whole when things are stolen like that.
So replacement cost basis means that it's. Tell me more about that.
All right. So yeah. So replacement cost is basically you're going to be reimbursed for what it costs to replace an item, not what it's worth today after it's been depreciated.
So you're saying that even though I think my computer is worth $2,000 with actual replacement cost, or I'll get the $2,000, but if it's the
actual cash value, they'll take into
be like $20.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be that bad, but yeah, they'll take into how long you've owned it and that type of thing.
Yeah. So yeah, it's important to know the nomenclature on your policies, as you can see here.
Exactly.
All right, and because my passport was stolen by the college students, I'm now a victim of identity theft. So what insurance do I wish I had?
So most insurance policies now will offer identity fraud expense coverage. Now either that's coming standard in the policy or you need to add it on as an endorsement. And it's important to note that actually doesn't provide a pool of money to pay for whatever money was taken, for example. But it's really there to help you recoup. Basically, it'll cover your employer documented loss of wages for work, time to meet with attorneys, loan application fees for loans you were rejected because of the credit fraud, the cost for notarizing appropriate documents to get your credit back up and running, and related long-distance calls to merchants, law enforcement agencies, creditors. So basically, it's a pool of money available to get you back up and running with your credit again, prior to this incident happening.
So that maybe the little less insult is added to injury there.
Yes.
That is the end of our lightning round here, and I see there are some questions that some of you have written in, so let me take a scan here. Here we go. If I were bitten by a dog, I can make a claim against can I make a claim against the homeowner's insurance?
Yeah, so actually the liability there would be the person's dog that bit you. So yeah, you can make a claim, but it would be against their policy.
Okay. And my neighbor flooded my home because he neglected his drainage system next to my house. Would he normally be covered by his insurance?
That's a tough one too. It depends on what's in the policy. If there's backup of sewer and drains coverage, who's found at fault. That can be a little tricky. So I'd be happy to talk offline about it because it can get pretty intense. But there's ways to settle a claim around that kind of stuff.
Got it. If you have other questions, you can put them in now. Other than that, is there anything that we haven't covered today, Jill, that you wanted to make sure we got that you said?
I think really the most important thing is to make sure your insurance planning is part of the rest of your financial planning. Don't just let it continue to renew every year. Look at it each time it comes in. Talk to your broker or anyone at the agency you're working with, just to make sure there's not any new policy features you may be missing out or additional risk exposures that you're not covered for.
Okay. Well, Jill and I are both fast talkers, as you may have realized going through this. So that is it for our material today. So I would like to say thank you to Jill. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you,
Jill is Vice President at MOC Insurance, one of the largest independent insurance brokers in California. I'm Liz Revenko, Financial Planner at Mosaic Financial Partners. We at Mosaic Financial Partners would like to leave you with this. We want you to have a financial plan done right. And part of that is evaluating your risk exposure. We want to make sure you, your family, and your future are protected against risks in the way that makes sense for you. Thank you all for joining us today. A recording of this webinar will be available on our website, www.mosaicfp.com/events. And again, there you can find information about upcoming webinars and other events that we sponsor. You can also follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, or Facebook. Thank you and have a great afternoon.